11 days after the U.S. began strikes in Iran, there is not a clear path forward for peace or for the global energy markets. In just the last hour, the U.S. promised to join an international effort to tap global oil reserves. But even the promise of releasing 572 million gallons of oil wasn't enough to calm those markets down. That is bad news for the price at the pump for you. And as Kent explains tonight, gas isn't even the biggest concern.
Price increases at the pump appear to have a long road ahead due to the war with Iran. On the same day that 32 countries are committing to the largest release of oil from global reserves ever, oil prices actually went up another 5%.
This is more of a headline than it is action. You can't replace 20 million barrels of flow every day with a finite amount of oil.
Patrick DeHaan, head of analysis for GasBuddy, a website which tracks gas and energy prices, says that's how many barrels of oil typically travel through the Strait of Hormuz. But after another 3 ships were struck near the coast of Iran today, that flow has all but stopped. And even if the U.S. joins others in releasing reserves, DeHaan says it will only result in 2 or 3 million gallons more per day.
The issue with all of the solutions that are on the table or could be on the table is that there's still a Band-Aid solution. Oil prices will keep going up until they find that point that demand has gone down 20 million barrels. And nobody knows what that number looks like. We've never faced this predicament.
That means the average for a gallon of gas in Minnesota, which is nearing $3.38 a gallon, is likely to keep climbing.
I don't foresee $4 a gallon yet in the Twin Cities, but if we continue on this course, virtually anything is possible.
Still, he says he's less worried about gas than he is about diesel, which has shot up by a full $1 in less than a month.
We are dealing with probably the second fastest paced increase of diesel prices on record.
This can't go on super long.
John Hosladen, president of the Minnesota Trucking Association, says diesel has climbed even higher in the Twin Cities, and it comes at an already tough time.
Challenge for trucking companies is we're in the 4th year of a freight recession. We don't have a lot more levers to pull. Margins are pretty tight. We cannot float that extra cost right now, so they're going to have to pass them on to their customers and ultimately the consumer.
He says it won't be long before we start noticing the impact in stores.
Imagine the things that are most time sensitive, most perishable, fruits, vegetables, anything that needs to be consumed quickly.
And unless the war ends soon, that road ahead doesn't look great.
Diesel is the fuel that powers the engines that run the U.S. economy. And when the data catches up to tell the story, we're going to see the pendulum on inflation swinging back in a significant way. Our wallets will be feeling the pain of higher diesel prices.
DeHaan points out that the timing of this diesel spike isn't just bad for trucking companies. We've talked a lot on this show about how farmers are already facing negative profit margins, and now diesel is rising just as they are getting ready to get back in the field. A lot of fertilizer is also stuck in the Strait of Hormuz, more than a third of the world's supply, driving up that cost even more. Jana.
And Kent, you've reported quite a bit on when farmers decide to plant, what to plant in the spring season. We're here. And that fertilizer bit I saw in segments today could be up 50, 60, 70%.
And keep in mind, we're talking about that produce again, those perishables for those farmers in other areas of the country that are also seeing this. So again, it will all come back. We'll all be feeling that in a few months.
The cost of war is felt in really every sector. Kent, thanks so much for keeping us up to date on that.